What's up, guys? It's Manga Time once again. I'm here to bring you a discussion video. We haven't had one of those in a while, but this is essentially going to be talking about my predictions for the remaining Sternritters and their letters, their epithets, their powers. Obviously, there are still 3 Sternritter we haven't even seen yet, so it's difficult to include them. But you know, some of the ones we have seen, I can talk about. But for starters, let's just go with a couple of Sternritter who we have seen, and they're apparently defeated, but we didn't get their epithet. And as you can see, it's quite dark. That's because I forgot my camera, so this is going straight off my computer's webcam. But anyway, yeah, let's start with BG9, who was Sternritter K. God, I hope he's alive. I really hope he's alive. Anyway, I think that was probably the knowledge. That seems most likely to me. It would fit his whole robot theme, and also when Soifon used Mukyo Shunko against him, he was like, "Oh, I was able to collect some outstanding data from that," and then he seemed to blow up. I don't know. I think maybe the explosion might have been his own ability, but at the same time, it could have been him replicating the Mukyo Shunko. But either way, he was like, I was able to take some data from that. So I think it's likely he was the knowledge. The fact that Kubo didn't tell us his epithet is weird, because he's made sure to do so with every single Sternritter, or almost every Sternritter so far. So I would love to see BG9 come back. There's been lots of theories that we'll get like a BG10 or something like that, and he'll be like an upgraded version. So I don't know, maybe that'd be cool. Anyway, next Sternritter is the female Sternritters, colloquially known as the Femritters. Giselle Joelle, Lil Toto Lamperd, Meninas McCallon, and Candice Catnip. I am so surprised these guys are still alive. Like, I don't know about you, but I had them ticked off as fodder as soon as we saw them. Unfortunately, they're not. I mentioned this in my reviews before, that I only like 2 of them, and that's Giselle and Lil Toto. I really couldn't care less about the other 2. Speaking of which, Candice's T, I think almost 100% is thunder. She's got like lightning bolts in her hair and her eyelashes, I think. And her Volstendig wings were kind of shaped like jagged thunder beams. Not thunder beams, lightning beams. So yeah, I think that's pretty obvious actually. Unless Kubo throws a curveball and makes her like the thunder bolt or something. But yeah, that's pretty much what I expect out of her. Meninas is a bit more difficult because she hasn't really displayed any interesting or unique traits yet. But she's P. I've seen people say things like the pretty. A lot of people say the poison, but that would kind of be a bit boring, I think. And I don't really know how she would use it. But Meninas is a hard one. I don't really know what I would pick for her. I would like it to kind of be like the perfume. Like she's able to like release this kind of I don't know what the word I'm looking for is now. Release this kind of perfume that it could be like, it could put people to sleep or something. That'd be kind of neat. But honestly, I really don't know what I'm expecting from Meninas at all. Frankly, I'm not expecting a lot, but yeah, that'd be kind of interesting, I guess. Lil Toto, I think, is a little bit easier. Lil Toto being the little girl one of the 4. She's G. I think she's probably going to be the glutton or the gluttony, because the first time we see her, she's talking about sweets. The next time we see her, she's like eating biscuits out of a box. And the third time we see her, she's like got like a lollipop ice cream thing, I think. So yeah, she's definitely something to do with eating. I don't know what her power would necessarily be. Like, I don't think it would be as simple as she gets stronger the more she eats. She might actually change in size. That might be why she's like so small to start with, and then she kind of shoots up or something. I don't really know. In which case she could be the giant. That could kind of be a throw off, but I don't know. That would be kind of interesting actually if Kubo did that. If he made it so that she had to eat to transform into this giant. And when she transformed, she was like, I'm Lil Toto, the giant. And like the food thing was just a kind of red herring to transform her into this giant. That'd be kind of interesting. But yeah, I think it's going to be something along those lines. And the most interesting of the Sternritters, in my opinion, is Giselle, who's Sternritter Z. And a lot of people are theorising that to be the zombie, because what else can Z be, really? The zebra? Yeah. Well, I mean, another one she could be is the Zodiac. That would be kind of cool. I don't know how that would work. Like, she has the power of star signs. That'd be kind of neat. But no, I think the zombie is possibly the most likely. Especially after a lot of people are theorising that she's going to resurrect Bambietta. But we need to see, really. We need to see where that's going. But yeah, that's kind of what I think for those four. And the next Sternritter I'm going to talk about is Shaz Domino. If any of you guys might not remember him, he was basically a throwaway Sternritter that Kubo used to hype Ichigo up when Ichigo arrived in Soul Society. He was the one who took out Akon, and then he was like, "Who are you? I'm Shaz Domino, and my power with the throwing knives." And then Ichigo one-shotted him. Whether Shaz is still alive or not, I don't know. I kind of put the same reasoning as I did with BG9, in that it's weird that Kubo didn't give his epithet before he died. Because he has done for everyone else. Okay, apart from BG9. But I think Shaz is probably X, the X-Ray. I originally thought Shaz was going to be V, the Vision. And he would throw his knives and they would always hit on target. Like, is it Bullseye? Off from the comics, but no. Now that V is actually the Visionary, that's not going to happen. So I think Shaz is X, the X-Ray. Like, he's got glasses and everything, so that can kind of be used if his powers are ever properly explained. But mainly I'm kind of thinking that he can, like, see the vital points on people's bodies and then throw the knives at them and hit them like that. Which would explain how he was able to so easily take out pretty much half of the 12th Division. And also, he was able to see Akon's invisible room in the sky. I mean, he must have been able to see it because he kind of made a hole in it to attack Akon, so yeah, I kind of think he's X, the X-Ray. But Shaz Domino never really resonated with me. I mean, admittedly, he was only in it for like 3 panels, but his design kind of looked throwaway to me, like he looked a bit fodderish. I don't know, really. I mean, he looked kind of basic, apart from the fact he had leopard spots over his face, which I didn't really like anyway. So I think it's really up in the air if Kubo is actually going to bring him back or not. Yeah. Anyway, the next Sternritter I'm going to talk about is one of my absolute favourite Sternritters. We haven't seen much of him yet, but it's Sternritter D. Askin Naklavar. I just think he's so cool. He's got such a great personality. He's very shady, very tricky, probably very intelligent as well, and he's something of a mediator amongst the Sternritters. But I think he also might be up to something. But if you don't really remember Askin, he was first seen in 543 when Uryu was made the successor, and he broke up the fight between Basby and Haschwalth. Then he led the invasion and came up against Mayuri in the 12th Division, and basically decided, I'm not going to bother with this because it's going to take way too much time, and he just walked off, which is hilarious. But despite that, he is definitely being touted as one of the top tier Sternritters. And as for his ability though, D, that's got a lot of interesting possibilities. When he first appeared, he created some kind of, well, it looked like a dimensional portal. The problem is, I don't know what the point in that portal was. Like, I mean, when he did it, it caught the attention of Haschwalth and Basby. Now, was that the point? Or did he appear through the portal? I don't really know. It's hard to say. But judging by that alone, you would think his D was probably like Dimension or Door, which was originally what I had him penned as, until the Mayuri fight came around and he tried to lead Mayuri into the darkness. He actually tried to do it and Mayuri caught him out on it. So he could be the darkness. It could be that his dimensional powers work in the darkness. I don't know. I think Askin's ability is pretty much guaranteed to be kind of awesome, though. I think he could be the darkness. That'd be cool. Some people have theorized he's the death because the line he says is, "This is going to take too long. I'm going to have to figure out lots of patterns to make you die," and that "make you die" has made people think that he's the death. But if you ask me, that is literally asking to be way too OP. I mean, we've already got someone who can create his imagination into reality, so just being able to kill someone like that that'd be way too OP, I think. Anyway, the next Sternritter is Colonel Sanders, he still doesn't have a name. Otherwise known as Commissioner Gordon or Old Man Quincy. He's the one who fought Shun Sui in the initial invasion, and they had that awesome back and forth where he took out Shun Sui's eye. I originally thought he was going to be C. Like I had no real justification for that, other than the fact that we'd seen him quite a lot, and yet we still didn't have his name. And he was obviously very powerful. But I mean, like, it's not like they're ranked by letter, so I actually think I have a better theory than that now. I think Colonel Sanders is almost guaranteed to either be W or M for the walk or the move / the movement. It could be either. My reasoning being is that his Volstendig is called Grumaniel, the Walk of God, and from what we've seen so far, the Volstendigs correlate to the letter. Kurge's was the justice of God, as was the fear of God. So the walk of God would imply that his epithet should correlate to that. So I think he's going to be the walk or the move. And his abilities seem to pertain around like super light speed, almost teleportation. Because when Shinsui tried to slash him, Sanders was able to activate Grimaniel on the spot and then teleport. So that also implies that his Volstendig is slightly different in that it can be activated like that, so that you get the ability whenever you need it. So it's literally like a free teleport. You know, and put that with his crack shot skills, because he didn't miss a single shot when he was firing at Shinsui, and he's going to be pretty dangerous, I think. But yeah, I think I'm going to go with the walk or the move. That's definitely, I think, what Colonel Sanders is actually going to be. I think that's a pretty good shout, actually. One of the other Sternritters, then, is another one who's pretty shrouded in mystery, actually. We haven't seen a lot of him at all. We've seen him twice, in fact. We saw him once in 500, where you only saw his foot, and he had kind of Neutra style shoes on, where they were curved up at the toe, kind of like a wizard. He had like big kind of puffy pants, and all he's said so far is his rather distinctive gee 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 style laugh. But basically he has the power to control people's minds, which is pretty OP. But in chapter 500, he basically takes over the entire 12th division and gets it to fight each other. Like Jidambo fights it. That's all you see of him there. But then you see his face in 543, when Uryu was made successor, and he spies on Basby and Haschwalth and Askin. And you see, and Askin's like, we have some people spying on us, and when he's noticed, again, all he just does is his gee 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 laugh. But we get a better look at him here, and so far he's just being colloquially referred to as the gee 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 Sternritter. But essentially, he's got a really interesting design. I cannot wait to see this guy more, because he's just so mysterious at the moment. But essentially, he's holding this massive staff with a big eyeball on top of it. Now, I have a couple of theories here. Theory 1 is he's blind because he's wearing these black glasses, and he sees through the eyeball. And now my reasoning for that is that when he's spying on Askin, Basby and Haschwalth, he's kind of sat behind the wall and he's got his staff out to the side, like looking down at them. I mean, that could be it, but it also, because his powers are mind control, it could be that he uses the eye to control people, like maybe a light comes out of the eye, and the reason he wears the glasses is so that he doesn't get affected. But there's two issues with that theory. One is that would give him an immensely easy and obvious weakness, and two, how does someone control their own mind? Like, I don't know if he could fall under his own spell. I don't know if that would make any sense. But as for this guy's epithets, I think, again, there's only two real choices. Unless Kubo throws a curveball, and that's C, the control, or M, the mind. I think he's probably more likely to be M, the mind, only because C... Well, this doesn't actually mean anything, to be honest, but C is being really hyped up by the fan community. I know that's generally a recipe for disaster, but like they're because Haschwalth is B and Askin is D, and they're clearly very powerful, and yet we haven't seen this elusive C yet, so they're clearly going to be beast. So it could be Gigi because he's clearly going to be very powerful. But I don't know. I think M for the mine sounds about right. Yeah, we're going to have to see. As for the other Sternritter, I mean, so the ones we're missing are C, L, M, N, W, X. I think that's all of them. The other ones we're missing at the moment. So that's it from this video, guys. Let me know in the comments below who you think is what letter. Tell me what you think the powers are of the Sternritters we haven't seen so far. Let me know in the comments below what what the epithets of the ones revealed you think are. And as always, guys, subscribe to this video if you want to see more, and give it a thumbs up. That'd be a real great help. But until next time, I'll see you on Wednesday for a Bleach review. See you then. Oh, and hopefully Kenpachi will Shikai this week. That'd be kind of neat.